Is there any hope for the future of zombies? What can we expect from zombies in the next Treyarch title? What would be your ideal content roadmap for a modern zombie release? What is the current state of the zombies community? All of these questions and more here on the first episode of the Mystery Box Podcast. Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Welcome to the first episode of the Mystery Box Podcast. Today, we're going to be looking at the pulse of the zombies community and kind of the zombie culture in general to see how are we doing, where are we at, and where are we going. I did put up a poll on my channel with several of these questions. We're going to be looking at these throughout this podcast. And so let's jump right in with what is the state of the zombie community right now? How are we doing? How did Cold War affect us? How did Vanguard affect us? Kind of what's the state going on right now? I think it's safe to say that the last two releases, arguably for a lot of people, the last three releases of Call of Duty Zombies has not been ideal. We obviously had the huge success of Black Ops 3 and Zombies Chronicles. Black Ops 4, I would argue, started very strong, but then ended kind of poorly. But the real damage, I think, in my opinion, happened with Cold War and Vanguard. And more specifically, what we're feeling right now, I think with this year off, with Modern Warfare 2 and no zombies, which I think is a good thing, I think I've been able to identify that this has been a big trust issue with Treyarch or Activision. I think that's the core of what the community's feeling right now. I think with Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, classic zombies, when you think of classic zombies, despite what the behind the scenes stuff was, I think the zombie community felt as though Zombies was the passion project of Call of Duty. Call of Duty's always had that reputation of being that cheap, really easy to get into, hard to master sort of base level FPS shooter. But Zombies was the labor of love. Zombies was the extra special side mode that the developers poured into because they wanted to. And I think Cold War, and especially Vanguard, but even Cold War, maybe you could argue Alpha, Mega, Tagged, or Totem, but mainly Cold War and Vanguard was the first time the zombie community felt as though, hey, they're just kind of putting out content to put out content. This feels like a cash grab. This feels like it wasn't made with the same love that, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 were in Zombies Chronicles. And I think that is probably the worst thing you can do for Call of Duty Zombies. When or if Call of Duty Zombies ever ends or ever gets officially canceled, I think that's going to be the reason why. I think the community can survive bad game design. I think the community can survive things that they disagree with. Like, talk all you want about Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, even World War II Zombies. There are decisions made in those modes that the community didn't necessarily gel with. And obviously they're not as popular as something like Black Ops 3 might be. But I think you can go back to World War II. You can go back to Infinite Warfare. And obviously people are going back to Black Ops 4 and having a blast with it. But more than just that, they're understanding that these were maps. These were games made specifically with purpose and had a clear vision as to what these developers wanted these games to be. Whereas fast forward to Cold War and Vanguard, yes, Cold War might have an excellent gameplay loop, and Vanguard might also have that same cool core gameplay loop with a really cool game engine, but the lack of whatever you want to call it, and it's so hard to put a word to it. Me and how I like to try to articulate and find the right words for the right things that I'm feeling, but there's just not that sense of presence or purpose or intentionality behind Cold War Zombies. And I put out that Cold War isn't aging well video, and that shot off because people are passionate about it, but so many of those comments completely agreed with what I had to say, and that makes me feel validated, I guess, but it makes me also feel like that's an accurate representation of what's going on with Cold War. People love the gameplay, people love how the game feels, but when specifically looking at the maps and the bigger picture of what Zombies is and has been for a lot of people, that sort of core vision, that purpose, that intentionality behind the maps, and we're going to take you to this location because of this, that was missing. And that has to be there in order for Zombies to be successful again. And controversial statement number one incoming, I believe that so long as the next Zombies game, 2024 Zombies, whatever it is, so long as it has a vision, so long as it has a cohesive theme, message, purpose, whatever, I think the Zombies community will be maybe not revitalized, but it will stay strong. It'll be healthy. There will be a following behind it, and people will enjoy it. What I would be worried is if that zombie title didn't have that purpose, felt very thrown together, felt very cannibalized, like we saw with Cold War. Cold War was made with scraps of all sorts of different parts of that multiplayer and all sorts of part of the other Cold War pieces of the campaign. You know, Marauder, Toten, Forsaken clearly taken from the campaign. Firebase Z was taken a little bit from the campaign. I think D Machine, I can't think of what D Machine was a part of in Cold War. Obviously, it had Nocturne Toten in it, but that's a very simple, easy building layout to have in there. But I don't remember any mission in the mountains. Maybe it was part of the mountains. Maybe that was going to be part of Outbreak, or not Outbreak, whatever the next Warzone map, that huge thing that they're going to make all of the big maps a part of. Yeah, I can't remember what that word would be called. But yeah, I think D Machine was the only made up thing specifically for zombies, and that just can't happen. I feel like that is really the soul of zombies, of, you know, not necessarily unique assets, because zombies has always been made out of unique or borrowed assets, but a unique vision, a unique purpose. When you played obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is Ancient Evil or Mob of the Dead or Gorod Krovi. Like, those have a specific purpose and intention behind them, and I think so long as we have that, we can survive, you know, the game being too easy. We can survive the game being too hard or being too unfair, or the Easter eggs being this way or being that way. So long as it has that emotional zombie feel, I think we'll be okay. And that being said, the state of the community, I think, is pretty good right now. I think we're in kind of a lull. I think we're kind of in a spot where we're calmed down a little bit from Vanguard zombies. That was definitely something that got the community very vocal and very upset about the future of zombies. And I think that's why. I think, you know, it wasn't like and even back in Black Ops 4, now that I'm thinking about it, the things that make people angry about Black Ops 4, the specialist system or the perk system, the point system, that doesn't get people vile. That doesn't get people so, I guess vile, toxic might be the other word, about zombies. People aren't losing faith in Treyarch because, oh my goodness, you know, they put in salvage, you know, they're upset at Treyarch or Activision because of that bigger picture. They're afraid, like, you know, Vanguard should never have been released. And that sort of image alone, that sort of motion, that behavior, that action from Activision is tells the community, hey, we don't really care about the quality of the game. You know, I'm sure, and this is a big fight that happened in Vanguard too, I'm positive the developers care. I'm positive they're passionate. I'm positive they want the game to be successful. They want to make the best game ever. But you can only do so much in 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it was, on a brand new engine where you have to completely re-script and recode the entire zombie game mode that you've built up for a decade. I'm sure the developers wanted to make a good game, but Activision, with releasing Vanguard Zombies and saying, yep, we're going to charge money for this, it showed the zombies community that you will not always get a good product. That guarantee of a good product, that trust between us and the zombie mode, is broken. And that's, you know, what I tried to say at the beginning here, but that trust between, hey, I'm going to buy a zombie mode, and whether I like it or not, whether I agree with the decisions made gameplay-wise or mechanically, it's going to be a solid product. It's going to be a well-made product. And beginning with Cold War, I would say beginning maybe with Alpha, Omega, and Tag Toten, but really hitting home in Cold War, and especially in Vanguard, those, I would argue, and as weird as this is to say, not the best products, right? And again, for as much hate as Black Ops 4 got, the product of Black Ops 4 Zombies, phenomenal. Like, it makes me so excited to think that might happen again. I don't think it will for some specific reasons, but just the product of Black Ops 4 Zombies, just it's insane. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch the Zombies Chronicles release and the teaser, or not the teaser, but the reveal at JC Backfire's apartment with Jason Blundell, and I'll think, man, this really happened? This really happened. Like, it's insane that a developer, the lead developer of Zombies, came to some dude's apartment in a completely different state to promote a 8-map DLC, completely remastered, completely everything. It was magical. It was so good. There's a reason people have such atonement and such praise for Black Ops 3. It's because those sort of things, and Zombie Chronicles was great. It wasn't like the Resurrection map pack from Black Ops 1, where it ported over the maps. It was completely done. New engine, new lighting, new assets. Gorgeous maps. I so good. I think back of those times and I think, wow, like we were so spoiled back then. I know that's kind of an anti-consumer thing to say, but that feeling of, oh my goodness, Treyarch is treating us so well, that love letter of Zombies that I would argue Revelations was a love letter to Zombies, as well as Zombies Chronicles, for me personally, continued into Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 was just yet another love letter to Zombies because it had custom mutations, which is something so many people asked for. I remember back in Black Ops 3, maybe not so many people, but I heard, hey, it'd be nice to customize this, have custom games in Zombies, and oh my goodness, they did it so well. The one thing they could have done is just add the main quest and Easter eggs in there. That's the only thing they could have done. But anyway, difficulty settings, bots, tutorials, 4 launch maps in Black Ops 4, different game modes. Oh man, that sort of product of, hey, we created these things for you. That is a sentiment. That's a feeling that players can understand. That's a language that we speak. And when you do something like Cold War or Vanguard, where it's just, here's D Machine for like 3 months. There you go. That's all we got for you, you know? And then there's Firebase C for another 3 months. And then here's your third map, your second DLC map, Marauder Toten. And yeah, it's pretty good, but then you're only going to get one more, like 4 zombie maps in a year. Ooh, that's rough. That was rough. I remember making a video saying that Cold War was boring and unfinished. I think I did the math and I calculated, hey, you would have to play, you know, this amount of hours in order to get the battle pass leveled up. You would need to play this amount of hours to, you know, plus the camo grind. Like, who could play one map for that long, especially D Machine and all that stuff? And oh man, but I think the Zombies community, like I said, with a little bit of distance from Vanguard, a little bit of distance from that mistrust, we're getting back into it. I could feel the positivity coming back into the community, the eagerness, the excitedness. I'm excited for what Zombies has to go in the future, but I'm also very nervous. But next question here. Well, actually, let's go to a comment real quick here. The current state of Zombies to me is in a pretty deep lull, as everyone is just waiting for an official Treyarch game for everyone's attention to come back. Me personally, Call of Duty 2024 could just be another year of Cold War with more story and more interesting maps with the same gameplay systems, and I'd be very happy about that. Outbreak and Onslaught returning would be great too. Again, that sentiment of Cold War was a great gameplay experience. We just needed more of the surrounding stuff that we've grown accustomed to in Zombies to make it feel more of a zombie title. The man, the myth, the legend, Richthofen's Revenge. You see him in every single COD Zombies video. The state of Zombies is not bad. A lot of people play it and watch it. Good original maps. I'm fine with Outbreak, so they can add that too. Cold War is a great Zombies game, but Vanguard was questionable. I still do play it because the last 2 maps aren't that bad. I don't expect nothing from Zombies since Cold War. I have mourned and made peace with the Zombies happily at Black Ops 4. To me, it ended. Cold War showed me a new zombie, and to be honest, I couldn't enjoy it for 6 months of its release. Why? Because I always ended up comparing, and when I do, I hated it. It's nothing like what Zombies is, and definitely killed Zombies. When I don't compare it, it's a fun mode, so that's how I see it. It's a very interesting point, and a point that I actually completely agree on. Well, not completely agree on. I really like Cold War Zombies, and it's definitely, Zombies is not dead for me, but I agree on the point of that Cold War, Vanguard, yeah, mainly Cold War and Vanguard, are almost a different game than what classic Zombies was. And I think what that does to the zombie mode has more repercussions than what we've seen so far. I think the Cold War Zombies difficulty debate is just the tip of the iceberg here. Above everything else, Cold War and Vanguard taught me how important it is for me that the maps are made great in a zombie game. Because even with fantastic gameplay, if the map itself simply isn't that interesting, I won't hold it in high regard. Now that I've recently given Black Ops 4 a chance, I love that game. While I prefer the fast-paced gameplay of Cold War, the actual map quality between it and Black Ops 4 is legit night and day. There's so much to love about every map, so many little side Easter eggs. It's infinitely more entertaining thanks to the crews, etc. It absolutely deserves to be considered one of the greats. I just threw that in there because, you know, Black Ops 4 fanboy. But yeah, I think the community's still pretty divided. I still think that there's people who, you know, like we've seen, don't like Cold War, aren't prepared for this next thing of Zombies. They prefer the classic version of Zombies. And I think that's unfortunate because I don't think we're going to get another Black Ops 3 in terms of mechanics and stuff. So yeah, Zombies community community, I think obviously it's not like at the end of Black Ops 3 where everyone's happy and awesome. I guess we weren't happy at the end of Black Ops 3. It was more Zombies Chronicles where everyone was really happy with the state of zombies and excited for Black Ops 4. We're not there. I don't think we're there, and I don't know if we will ever be there, at least before this Zombies title here. But I do want to point out that I think this time off, I think Modern Warfare 2 not having zombies is a huge net positive for the community. I know everyone's super antsy, everyone's super excited. We need zombies, we want zombies, and oh my goodness, why aren't they doing zombies? We need time to slow down a little bit. I would be afraid if every single year we got zombies. I know back in 2016 or even 2015, all the way to 18? Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4, you had Black Ops 3, then you had, what came after Black Ops 3? Infinite Warfare zombies, then you got World War II zombies, and then Black Ops 4 zombies, like all of those zombies games in a row, and Sledgehammer had their own zombie game. Infinity Ward had their own zombie game, so I think that was the healthiest way to do zombies. Each individual developer developed their own zombie title. I think that's the best way of doing it, just because it doesn't tax and you don't have Treyarch doing every single zombie thing ever. I like the time of reflection. I like the time to give the developers a break and actually think of new ideas and to actually brainstorm and to come up and refine maps and to, scrap this doesn't work, put this in, and add that level of detail that we want to see. But more so, I think it's also very healthy for the community. It's around now that I'm starting to see a lot of retrospectives. I'm seeing some appreciation and some more intrinsic, introspective look on what makes zombies. And I think the community does a great job at coming up with their own content that they want to talk about. With YouTube Shorts, there are so many things. There's so many different styles of shorts that I've seen of, these forgotten Easter eggs, or did you know this, or little mini tutorials, or little fun facts that you didn't know, and all of these different things. And it's just great to see. It's great to see us going back and actually submerging ourselves into these old zombie maps and really getting familiar with this content. I think that happened back in Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3. That's where all of the top fives happened. That's where all of the, I won't say retrospectives, but that sort of looking at the past. Hey, these are the best maps. These are the worst maps. Here's the best this, the best that. And when Black Ops 3 came out, it was like people in the community, people who watched YouTube videos, understood that feeling that the community had. We all know how we felt about Transit. We all know how we felt about Die Rise and Mob of the Dead and Origins. And that was kind of a familiarized, not agreed upon, but a common feeling, common sentiment in the community. So going forward, we could kind of understand what we liked, what we didn't like. And I feel like that's happening right now. I feel like people are playing Cold War and saying, hey, I really liked this, and this about it, but this really could have been better. And for me personally, I remember I did a map tier list when Cold War was done, and it was really tough. It was really tough for me to put those maps in order. And I think going back now, I would change a lot, specifically regarding the Cold War and Black Ops 4 maps. Black Ops 4 maps, even though I was a huge Black Ops 4 Zombies fan, I didn't rank them super high. And I ranked Cold War's maps really high, like, top 5, top 10 even. And right now, after really legitimately playing Cold War, after the Camel Grind, after Vanguard's out, going back and playing Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3 a little bit, D Machine, Firebase Z, Forsaken, even Mauer Der Toten, I don't know. I feel like the maps themselves, as I said in my huge video, they lack identity. They lack that zombies charm, that purpose, that extra fun. We put this in just because it goes with this theme, and it lacks so much of that what's the reason I would play D Machine over Firebase Z? Why would I play Firebase Z over this? And I don't know if that's a thought. I don't know if that's a feeling that I figure out if we have a zombie game every single year. I don't know if we get an introspective and articulate community if every single year we're given a zombies game. And you kind of see that with 6v6 Call of Duty right now. And I'm hoping this is an end to that yearly 6v6 Call of Duty. I don't think it is, but it would be really nice if they did similar to Warzone, that, hey, every 3 years there's a huge update to 6v6 and it's a new game. Like every 3 years there's a huge update to Warzone and it's basically a new game. And every 3 years there's a huge update to Zombies and it's basically a new game. And if they just did that, and that was Call of Duty, I think that would be super healthy, because what we feel with 6v6 Call of Duty, at least in my opinion, is just the most loss of identity, loss of purpose that you could have imagined. I think with Modern Warfare 2019, I had a lot of hope for the 6v6 Call of Duty, because it felt like that was a good product. It felt like that was made with a purpose. The developers know it needs to play like this, feel like this. Here's what we're going to do. Boom. Awesome. And then Modern Warfare 2 releases, and it's like the same thing, except in my opinion, a little bit worse. And there is no different purpose between it and Modern Warfare 2019. And, Cold War, even though it was pretty well liked, actually it was pretty hated, but even though now people like it, why did Cold War need to exist after Black Ops 4, after Black Ops 3? Why did there need to be a sequel of a 6v6 game in general? And that's the state that I don't want Zombies to be in. I don't want Zombies to just release because, hey, we need a zombie game, we need a zombie map, it's next year, we need to make a zombie community happy. No, like, I want a new game when they have a new idea, when they have a new experience for us to experience. I don't want just a generic, here you go, here's a new map, here's a new map, here's a new experience, but it's just the base level, shallow, lacking depth sort of maps that we kind of got in Cold War and Vanguard. I don't want an assembly line Zombies game, because I feel like that's what we got with Spec Ops and 6v6 and even Warzone now lately. It's felt kind of just like, here, it's new. How is it new? Well, I'm selling it to you again. It's $60, it's $70, it's new. Well, this feels kind of the same as the old one. It feels like you made minor tweaks and minor adjustments. And yeah, plus there's the fact that we don't need to play. Let's just think about it as people, as consumers, as zombie lovers. We don't need to play one game every year round. I just don't think that's healthy. I know there are many times where I'll go weeks, even months without playing Zombies, and that's okay. I don't know if it's YouTube or, Activision or the gaming space or kind of a combination of everything, but it feels as though there's this sentiment in the community, maybe not in the community, but there's a sentiment somewhere, I get it from somewhere, that games want you to play them all the time. They want your time. They want you to spend time leveling up whatever battle pass they have. They want to capture your attention. YouTube wants to capture your attention. They want you to stay on the same video, click on the next video, which you definitely should, and you should subscribe if you like the content, just saying. But everything's trying to capture your attention. But with Zombies, with any game, one game in my brain, in my opinion, is not designed to keep you entertained for the rest of your life. You're going to want to play another game, just period, because this one game cannot give you the satisfaction that every single other game can. I play Minecraft for an entirely different reason and in an entirely different way than I play Zombies. I play 6v6. I play Zombies. I play Metroid and platformers and adventure games and single-player games and Doom and all of these different games for different reasons. Star Wars Battlefront has captured my attention lately. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just really into Star Wars lately, but just the immersion that I get in Battlefront 2. I don't know, maybe I'll talk about it on the podcast sometime, but like, it's fun. And it's an experience that I can't get in Zombies. And so if I want to experience that, you got to play a different game. If you want to experience this other thing, you got to play a different game. So, and that ties into the whole, I guess, seasonal challenges and seasonal leveling up and ranking system that we have. But I don't think it's fair to expect players, and I don't think it's fair to expect it from yourself to play one game the entire year round. And so there are going to be seasons in life. There's going to be seasons in even a popular Zombies title. I remember back in Black Ops 3, the wait between Zetsubo no Shima and Gorod Krovi was miserable for people. People hated it. They thought it was the end of Zombies. They said Zetsubo no Shima is the worst zombie game, or the worst zombie map since Transit. I'd rather play Transit. At least Transit's fun with friends, and so much ridiculousness. But that short time period between April and whatever August it was it August? I don't know. No, I think it might have been July, actually. that time period felt like the end of zombies. And in the golden age of Black Ops 3, people were bored and frustrated and upset at the end of Zitsbo and before Gorod Krovi, one of the most highly acclaimed zombie maps of all time. So it's fair anytime you feel like, hey, I don't feel like playing zombies, it might not be the game's fault. It might just be you want to play a different game. So I think we should stop forcing developers to try to come up with systems that trick or capture people's attention in a manipulative way. Manipulate players is really the biggest issue for me. I never want zombies to cater to the least common denominator, because at that point, well, to the point at which it costs the quality of the zombie game. And I feel like that's a lot of people's problem with Cold War, because it's catering, it's being accessible to a whole bunch of new zombie players because it's so easy, because it doesn't force you, it doesn't punish you for getting hit, it gives you a lot of extra chances. And a lot of zombie players don't like that because, hey, part of the fun of zombies is the challenge. And so catering to those new players, catering to the bad players or new players, it makes the game less authentic, it makes the game less fun, and therefore, many people may play it, but the hardcore fans might not be there. But that being said, you don't need to play the same game all year round every year. I don't think that's healthy. Plus, we've got, I think I've been trying to, as you can see, I've been trying to dive into custom maps and custom mods a little bit here. They are a little bit more fun than I thought they were going to be. They're not as fun as I want them to be. I don't think they can hold me over for like a whole long period of time. I never play a zombie map or a zombie game or mod and think, oh my goodness, I can't wait to play that tomorrow. Like even Shoot House, that was my favorite. I might play it again, but after that, it's like, I get it. It's there. I want to make a whole video or podcast, who knows, about custom zombies and custom maps and that stuff. And there's a whole debate of whether or not they're better than Treyarch maps. And that's just silly, in my opinion, for multiple reasons on both sides of that argument. It's really silly. Enjoy what you enjoy. Have fun. Well, who cares who has the most fun? Why are we arguing about who has the most fun? Just have fun, But the zombies community is really resilient. Looking at the history of zombie droughts, Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3, people come up with new ways of forming content. People come up with new ways of talking about zombies, of playing zombies, of showcasing zombies. There's so many fun videos about zombies, both gameplay-wise of, zombie bingo and, zombie mods and custom mobs and cause and effect and shoot house and all of these different maps and the Iron Dragon. And there's just so many things to do in zombies right now that if we had an official zombie game, I don't think these mods get as much traction. I don't think content creators are forced to be creative and to think of unique ways to talk about zombies and think about zombies. I think we're a shallower and a less hardcore and less dedicated fan base if there's an easy type of content every single year. If there's what do you call it? Oh man, it's like the low-hanging fruit. If there's low-hanging fruit all the time, then all you're going to get is this shallow content. All you're going to get is this low-hanging fruit content, and no one dives deeper. No one does these beautifully intricate retrospectives, and no one does these huge, ambitious videos and content, and we don't understand why we like certain games and certain aspects of zombies more than the other if we only have that shallow surface level. So I love the fact that time off for this community is happening. So that's where we're at. But where are we going? Do we all know where we are? Oh, I forgot the lyrics. Dang it. No, you don't want to hear me sing. But Call of Duty 23/2024, what can we expect? What's going to make the community survive? What's going to, how can Treyarch repair their trust? That sort of thing. King says, Cold War gave me hope for good zombie maps, while Vanguard butchered some of this hope. I wish we could get more of Cold War with different maps, actual different maps that each has a theme or stupid theme even. I have high hopes actually. Treyarch aren't going to be rushed for the first time since, I believe, Black Ops 3. While I dislike a lot of aspects about Cold War and Vanguard, the fact that they're as playable as they are, considering how little time they were made, is admirable. With a full development time, I actually think 2024 might be a great year. Don't have much expectations for Modern Warfare 3 Zombies though. Might be good, might not be. I probably won't be too into it myself since it's Outbreak, but I hope it's good for others. I expect it to be full of passion with rich environments, taking things that worked from previous years and improving improving on things that didn't work. I also believe there will be enough to cater to both the casual audience and the hardcore audience. I expect it to be a mix of Black Ops 4 and Cold War. A lot of the sentiment to me is a result of that broken trust, of that, hey, there's the potential for goodness, there's the potential for greatness. I think there's great things about this and that, but the trust that Treyarch or Activision that has built upon the zombie mode is broken. So how does Treyarch repair that trust? How does Treyarch send out, 2023, 2024 zombies and everyone, if the zombies community was booming again, if we were like, oh my goodness, this is the next best zombie game, what does that zombie game look like? And that's a hard question to ask, especially since 2023, there's Outbreak. Now, Outbreak is so weird to me because there's this duality that I have of extreme excitement and even more extreme nervousness, because I think the success of Outbreak, the failure or success of Outbreak in 2023 is going to heavily determine the success or failure of 2024 zombies. Outbreak in Modern Warfare 3, again, I guess fair to say, still rumored, not necessarily confirmed, but rumored. That could be a lens into the mechanics of the next game, the story of the next game, how much polish the next game is going to have, the characters, if they're going to have characters, the intent, the purpose of the maps, all of that stuff. 2023 is going to be a small reflection of that, whether it's Outbreak or not. And so I can easily see that, hey, Outbreak is amazing. They brought back characters. This Pack-a-Punch feels really good. The engine feels really good. I love these ideas. I love the theme of these maps. It feels like zombies. We're super excited for zombies, and I could see the hype building. But I could also see the exact opposite. Hey, this is just DMZ with zombies. Hey, this Pack-a-Punch doesn't feel that great. Hey, these weapons don't feel that great. Hey, these perks are acting weird. Or this doesn't feel like zombies anymore. This feels very fake and very, I could see that. And then the downward spiral of 2024 definitely not being there. 2024, I'm hoping will be a round-based experience, a more traditional zombie experience where they focus on round-based, but then have your Outbreak side mode, your Onslaught side mode. But I think at the end of the day, kind of like I said at the beginning, I think we can survive a great product, but bad gameplay decisions. I think we can survive that. I think we could survive another Black Ops 4. I think we could survive another Black Ops 2, where it's a solid foundation, great maps, great purpose, great intent, great game feel. But if we disagree with the point system, if we disagree with the perk system, I don't feel the zombies community is going to crumble because of that. However, if it is another lackluster, barely put together Durong Fung, or a one map only for 3-month thing like D Machine, and that one map doesn't have that much atmosphere, or the characters aren't there, or the story's not there, I think that's where we're going to start to see a mass exodus of zombie fans. But I've been waiting to do this in a video for a long time, and I made the video, I scripted it out, and it just never felt right. So we're going to do it here because I think this is a great format for it. What is the ideal content roadmap for a modern zombie title? What does the DLC look like? What does this look like? What game modes and all this sort of stuff? And I want you to think about this too. Sitting at home, wherever you're at, driving to work, listening to this podcast, what would make you happy and satisfied for a yearly release, not a yearly release, but just a regular year-long release of a zombie game? And this is interesting. We've had 3 years since Cold War, I think, 3 years, 4 years, depending on how you count it. It's been a long time since Cold War. Treyarch, hopefully, ideally, we're going with ideal here, would have enough content, would have enough development time to work on this content. So what would be the best case scenario for you in terms of how many maps get released, when do they get released, all that stuff? So for me, personally, you might think, donuts, you're a Black Ops 4 fanboy. You're going to ask for 4 maps on launch, aren't you? Well, you would be absolutely wrong. No, I don't want 4 maps on launch, even though I wouldn't be mad with 4 maps on launch. I don't think 4 maps on launch the community would like, even though I would absolutely love it. I loved 4 maps on launch. I think it was so much fun. But realistically, what I would like to see and what I think would make the most hype in the community, starting off, 2 maps. 2 solid maps on launch, very well put together. I'm talking Shadows of Evil and The Giant. I'm talking 9 and Classified, Transit and Nuketown. 2 solid, great maps to kick off the season with. Awesome maps, let's do it, right? And then Call of Duty lately, except Vanguard, I think, has been 6 seasons long. 2 seasons, or 2 months per season. That's 6 seasons in a year. Woohoo, math is fun. Every season, 6 seasons, I want one more fully fledged zombie map. Yes, you heard me. A zombie map a season. And you might think, Donuts, it's absolutely ridiculous. Well, when we take a look at Black Ops 4, where they had 3 years worth of development, they made 8 zombie maps. When we look at Black Ops 3, they made 8 plus 5, so they made 13 zombie maps. I don't think it's that ridiculous to ask for 8 round-based maps, especially when you spread them out throughout the entire year. I think 2 at the launch, plus 6 more for all the seasons, 8 maps. I feel like that's a good, healthy amount of content. Now, that's where the fun begins, because in terms of game modes, I think Modern Zombies has done a great job with the game modes. I remember Black Ops 3, the thing that was missing in Black Ops 3, everybody loved zombies. Everybody loved, these were great maps, amazing maps, but the thing that was missing was the casual experience, the survival map experience. And I think Onslaught does that so well. Whether or not that's Onslaught like we see it here in Cold War, or whether or not it's like every multiplayer is just turned into a survival map type thing, whatever it is, some Onslaught Containment, Onslaught Lasting Light, whatever that is, I think an Onslaught mode would be fantastic. Clearly, Outbreak is going to be there, but I would still like Outbreak to be there because that's more of the bigger scale, large, big map sort of immersive, well, not immersive, but what do you call that? Open world experience. I think people like that, so that's a good foundational thing. I would also love to see the return of Rush. I think that would be awesome. I think Rush is incredibly underrated. I think it's more arcadey than something like Onslaught is, but I think it has a higher high. This would also be a great time to reintroduce Grief in whatever way that Jason Blundell was saying that they would be happy with. It's been rumored to be in development around Black Ops 4, but I don't know where it is, but it would be great to have it come back here. Again, a great way to get the zombie fans hyped. Hey, this would be like Metroid Dread. People have been rumored, like, we want Grief to come back. We want Grief to come back. This would be so huge if they brought back Grief in 2024. But also, I believe there is some way, I don't know how, there is some way of giving us gauntlets. I think there's a way. Again, I don't know what to feel about gauntlets. I have so many states of mind on gauntlets. I love the fact that they're the same challenge, because that alludes to, or that helps the speedrunning community, that, hey, these are the same challenges, you can get them done in a certain time, but if there's a really annoying challenge, it means that it kind of taints that entire experience, or it leads to unfair gameplay. So you have to be really hard about that. But I also think that there's a gauntlet style where it's random challenges, something that we've seen in the Archon of all places. There's some weird challenges like health only, regen health when prone, or killing, or headshots give you damage or something like that. There's little tiny in-game stuff, almost like cause and effect, honestly, that changes the gameplay every round, but that could be like a gauntlet type thing. And how many rounds can you survive these random challenges? Or like the D-Machine, well, I guess not D-Machine, the Cold War challenge system. I don't know what you call those little, the computer terminal that you can go into, challenge podium. Well, I completely forgot what that's called, but that sort of thing every single round. Survive in this location, kill zombies with this equipment. I think there's a game mode where it's just that and people have fun. And finally, the last 2 things that are in my ideal content roadmap for zombies. Number 1, difficulty settings. Actually, let's start with this. Number 1, custom mutations. Custom mutations need to come back. The only difference is let us complete Easter eggs in them. Let us complete side quests. Let us complete the main quests in custom mutations. That's the one simple thing. It would get people to play it. It would be awesome. Number 2, difficulty settings. There has been a huge divide between the zombies community who grew up on zombies up until Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3. And Black Ops 4, and really now Cold War, like a previous comment mentioned, has created a divide in the community itself, because Cold War has really easy Easter eggs and really easy and forgiving gameplay, and people learned to love zombies in Cold War. So if we were to go back to a Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4 style of gameplay, so many people would be upset, they'd be turned off. But that being said, the people who did grow up on the Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, World at War gameplay, the Cold War gameplay isn't a challenge, isn't as engaging. And this is something that took me by surprise when going back and playing Black Ops 4. I played Cold War, and I don't really get into the behind the scenes stuff all too much with you beautiful people, but I scripted maybe 8 pages worth of a video essay on Easter eggs and main quests and how stupid and obscure and difficult Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 main quests were and Easter eggs were. Oh my goodness, they were horrible, poorly paced, poorly thought out. Cold Wars were the superior Easter eggs. Cold Wars had the best main quests. And that isn't how I feel anymore, because I love the challenge of Black Ops 4's main quests. I love the challenge of Black Ops 3's main quests. I do think they could be tweaked a little bit better, but the biggest revelation that I had was that the Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3 main quests, they're not that bad. They're really not that bad. Like the scratch mark step, I think, is the best example of watching that tutorial, watching everybody talk about the Dead of the Night Easter egg, and oh my goodness, the scratch mark step. You have to know 37 and a half different locations, and playing it, you just look at it and you go, that's 8, that's 13, that's 12. Okay, here you go. And it's done. And it's literally so easy. It's annoying to look up a guide. It's annoying to go, hey, where is this last location? But that's kind of a staple of zombies. So I'm really not that all upset by it, because you have to look up a guide for origins and all of these other things too. So it's kind of par for the course, in my opinion. Now, Cold War's Easter eggs, you can do it without guides. I guess that's fun. But I think what a lot of people don't recognize is that Cold War brought in a lot of players and brought in a lot of multiplayer people, and it lowered that bar, I guess. It lowered the barrier for entry to enjoy zombies, and I think that is an experience worth saving. Yes, I think the Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 Easter eggs are very, very fun and well done, and I want that experience too. I want that challenge. I want that. This isn't going to be easy. You know, you're not just given this experience because you bought the game. You have to earn it. I appreciate that. But I also appreciate the fact that Cold War did what it did, because if something like Spec Ops or even the Call of Duty campaign, only 1% of people finished, if only 1% of people finished the campaign, if only 1% of people or less than 1% of people finished the Spec Ops missions because it was too difficult, people would light it up on fire. They'd hate the campaign. They'd hate this experience. And that's kind of exactly what Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4's Easter eggs turned into, where they were developing, and Treyarch was developing these Easter eggs for so long, and so intricate puzzles and ciphers and steps and all this stuff for not a lot of people to experience it. So Cold War, genius move. We're going to let people experience it. It's going to be easier. It's still not going to be straightforward. It's still not going to be super easy to where you just stumble onto the main quest like you could with Durong Feng or whatever. But it's enough of a challenge for those new zombie players. And if it weren't for Cold War Zombies Easter eggs, I wouldn't go back and play Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 Easter eggs and have that confidence to do so. So I think there's 100% an experience that needs to happen for those people too. And thus the creation of not 4, not 3, just two different difficulty settings. And I don't necessarily want to call it like casual and hardcore, maybe novice and newcomer, maybe, I don't know, maybe it is hardcore and normal or something, but something to differentiate the modes without saying this is the default mode, because I feel like that's what Black Ops 4's difficulty settings felt like. It felt like normal was normal, casual was baby mode, nobody played hardcore, and realistic was fun for like a match or two. It never really felt like you were supposed to play anything other than the normal mode, which, I mean, it was still there, so you could still play it, and I still enjoyed playing other modes, but I love the idea of 2 separate endings or 2 separate quests and 2 different difficulty levels, and I love a difficulty somewhere around Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, and I love the idea of having a little switch where it goes, hey, this is Cold War difficulty now, because those are the 2 hardcore communities that really don't have that much in common. We love zombies, we all love zombies, but like these people like it really difficult and confusing, these people like it really easy and straightforward, and you really can't have something that's both easy and difficult and confusing and straightforward. So you almost have to separate those out and go, here's your Easter egg, here's your Easter egg, here's your game, go. And I think that's gonna be a way that they have to go, or choose as middle path as they can. But again, I have no idea how they would do that, because I'm no game developer, and that would be kind of crazy to come up with a happy middle between these two experiences. But overall, I'm pretty excited for Zombies. I think this could be a really fun experience. I think Treyarch has done an excellent job over the course of all the past couple years, starting with Black Ops 4, going through Vanguard. They've done a great job at listening to the community. I know that's going to be a controversial statement, but Cold War was a response to Black Ops 4. Vanguard was a response to Cold War. And I think Call of Duty 2024 is going to be a response to Cold War and Vanguard. I think they're going to make great maps. I think they're going to make great experiences. I really hope they make characters again. I really hope the storyline goes in. I really hope the gameplay and the Easter eggs are harder and more challenging, but also has that accessibility feature of difficulty settings or whatever for the new zombie lovers. I'm excited to see the internal and external progression, because I think they're going to solve that problem too. Anything and everything the community has been really vocal about, Treyarch, if they have the authority to, generally tries to solve that problem. Vanguard tried to fix Cold War's character problem with its art direction and its characters. The gods and stuff tried to have their own characters. Cold War responded to Black Ops 4's criticism of its perk system by giving you all the classic perks and then just upgrading it in this different way. Cold War heard, the Black Ops 4 specialist and equipment and elixirs, you're basically starting super overpowered. Cold War, while you're still pretty overpowered, the progression in Cold War is just a big smack in the face to Black Ops 4, being like, you don't have any progression? Well, look at us. We have all of the progression. So I'm really hopeful. I'm really excited for the next zombie game. I'm also really, really nervous, because if it's like a Cold War or a Vanguard, I don't know if the zombie community can survive off of it. I don't know if it's going to thrive, but I'm really excited. I'm excited for 2023. I'm excited to see where we're going from here. I'm excited for more of your comments. Please comment below. Let me know what you think about where we're at right now in the zombies community, where we're going. Let me know how you like this podcast. Thank you so much for all of your time. Please enjoy your day. Check out this video if you can. Until the next episode, beautiful Zombies Morning. I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, stay beautiful.